GJRB News. I'm Gary J. Russen. Good afternoon. In the news this afternoon, starting off our news, California tops the story as Trump's revoking California's authority on emission standards. We get this now from Fox News. Jessica Rosenthal.
General said they will explore their legal options here, promising to fight President Trump's decision to revoke California's waiver. This waiver has allowed the state to have stricter vehicle emission standards, and several other states have adopted California's lead. Automakers do comply. Governor Gavin Newsom said California will win this fight.
I don't know what the hell has happened to the Republican Party. And by the way, where is the Republican Party right now? Why aren't they pushing back? They believe in federalism. They believe in state rights. At least they assert that. And they're nowhere to be found.
The president tweeted that revoking the waiver will allow less expensive cars to be produced and that automakers should seize this opportunity now or they will be out of business.
And the waiver, the clean air standards are tighter than federal standards that have been adapted in more than 12 states. In other news, we're covering the Secretary of State Mike Pompeo's in Saudi Arabia after the attack which is now under investigation. President Trump's Treasury Department is to up the ante on the sanctions for Iran. Meanwhile, President Trump, a security advisor has been named. That is Robert O'Brien. He is the State Department's top security hostage official. We'll have stocks coming up and more news in just a moment. This is GJRB News. You hear great jazz on GJRB with the best of jazz, up-and-coming jazz, and smooth afternoon. If you can't get enough of jazz and you live in the Quad Cities area, tune in to KALA, St. Ambrose University in Davenport, Iowa, at 88.5 on the FM dial. Along with some of that great smooth jazz, you'll hear a lot of great jazz programming. And programming in other great music formats. Like blues, urban, including rap. Also classic R&B and Motown with David Baker on Rewind, Friday nights at 6 p.m. Central. In addition, you get programming in Spanish and some great gospel programming too. For more information on that great programming you'll hear, check out their schedule at www.sau.edu/KALA. Even if you don't live in the Quad Cities area, you can enjoy KALA anywhere in the world with their internet stream. Connect with KALA. Listen and enjoy. Meanwhile, in other news, a porn star has been found dead. Jessica James was found dead in her California home. According to TMZ, a friend went to check on her in the San Fernando Valley home Tuesday afternoon and found James unconscious. James was reportedly had a cardiac arrest. She was cardiac arrest. She was, I believe, 72. Could be wrong on that. I had to read that story because the stupid tablet decided it was going to flip on me. Which, again, I guess I should not trust this tablet. The porn star, by the way, was 743, not 72. She was 43. And veteran reporter in ABC and NPR News reporter died, Cokie Roberts. She was the daughter of Hale Boggs, who served in the House of Representatives. Roberts was 72 years old. And let's take a look at the stock market report this hour. The Dow Jones Industrial Average on today's trading up 36 points. The NASDAQ down 8 points. And the S&P up 1. Next news, the bottom of the hour, or when news breaks. Bottom of the top of the clock to keep you on top. GJRB Online News. Next news coming up at the bottom of the hour, and at the top of the hour I'll have news and comment for you with some interesting stories we'll be covering for you on that, including more on this story on Saudi Arabia. Also coming up, we'll take a look at President Trump's pick for security advisor and take a look at some other news throughout the afternoon. So keep it here. The Gary Russen program is next. I'm Gary J. Russen, GJRB Online News.
Recently, the owner of Facebook had faced conflicts over personal information on Facebook users. In addition, users were saying that their postings were being deleted. Getting sick and tired of your censorship and your data being used without your permission? Do something about it now. Come to MeWe, the internet social site that values your freedom. No more deleted postings. Make a step to freedom. Sign up today. It's easy. Go to www.mewe.com. That's M-E-W-E. MeWe, the internet's free speech social site.
There's a problem on our roads today, and that is the safety of our children boarding and getting off the bus on busy roads. That problem is drivers who don't stop for a school bus when the arm is out, the lights are flashing, and the stop sign is out, leaving kids in danger of getting hit. Violators of this law could get a suspension of their driver's license and a $250 fine. When you see a school bus stop at a corner, letting off kids, stop 25 feet away from the bus. Don't take that chance. A public service announcement from the National Highway Safety Administration and GJRB Online. Next news at the bottom of the hour.
Get rid of these breaks. You're covered and informed.
Now, GJRB presents the Gary Russen program, the original news talk program. Call Gary J. Russen right now on the Skype line at gary.russen or contact him on the GJRB chat room by clicking the balloon icon on the GJRB Spreaker widget on the Spreaker public site and on Twitter. Now, the Gary Russen program. And hello everyone, welcome from high atop, and of course I should say high atop because we're really not that high atop, the Lions Shopping District on Clinton's North End, and welcome to the Gary Russen program, midweek edition, otherwise known, it used to be called the Gary Russen program Over the Hump Day semi-freestyle, but it's like too long, so I kind of cut that short and make it a little easier by saying that this is the Gary Russen program freestyle Friday, but it is semi-freestyle, meaning that we kind of do a little scripted, a little news stories, and a little bit tight, a little bit loose kind of, and laid back kind of, but it's still, freestyle, so it's the midweek edition. And I'm planning on doing a middle of the week edition. I'm planning on working on an evening edition. Now, I did have an evening edition one time, but it kind of went away. Just never really planned on ever really doing that show again. I do like to have a nighttime version of this program, but like I said, I haven't worked hard enough to really produce that program, and it would be kind of a laid-back show like this one. But this one's okay for now. I'm planning on kind of refreshing this program a little bit, making it a little more different. But, I kind of like to say like the 5-minute newscast. I'm still going to do that from time to time, but not always. Some Wednesdays, if I don't have a news prepared or worked on, or I should even practiced it because you could tell that wasn't practiced. I usually like to make sure I practice that. But I did not practice it. I just ran out of time, so I just did it off the cuff. I mean, that's not bad for off the cuff, but it could have been done better. But I figured I'd save the stories for the next hour's newscast. And, of course, next hour we do news and comment, which where I kind of do the news and do commentary like Paul Harvey, and do like about a few minutes of stories, pick a few interesting ones, and do it that way. So I'm kind of like, on the edge of that one, because I think that would be a great idea. I like the thought of that. It's kind of cool. So I might do that. I'm working on a new plan. Every time I try to work on a better show, and you know how that goes. But always trying to do new things to kind of reinvent this program, because sometimes, since I started the Gary Russen program way back in 2012, hard to believe it's been that long, but it has been. I've never really had, I really had that large an audience for this program. So through the years, I kind of just, pick news stories and talk about them. And then I became GJRB's original news talk program because basically I just pick news and talk about it. I pick news throughout the show. News is throughout the show, not just at the top of the hour. So I kind of pick news that is, vital. I pick news stories that are important to you, the radio audience, and give you a chance to comment on it by calling the program. And of course, I add a little bit to the flavor of what Paul Harvey used to do. He would do birthdays, and I think he used to do the celebrities that shared your birthday with you, but I kind of did that on my own. That was kind of my idea. And we do have a birthday on Facebook today, so we're going to wish her a happy birthday later. That's Mary Holt, who's a friend of ours here in our church, so we'll do that later. And let's see, we've got a lot of other stuff coming up today, so I hope you'll stay with me all day long. The Gary Russen program on GJRB Online. What do you think? We got some interesting stories. Last night, hung out in the evening here and listened to the Caramel Conservative, Ed Delgado. Had a great show last night. And some really good stuff he was talking about. And I was listening to his Sunday 15-minute podcast. He was talking about vaping, or that vapor, e-cigarettes, whatever you want to call it. And I have my own opinion on that. I don't think it's really good for you. Although I got to admit, if they would have had e-cigarettes or vaping cigarettes when I quit in 2002, more than likely I probably would have used it. But, it was kind of interesting that he said that because, you learn a lot from talk shows, even from, fellow podcasters, that the vaping is, people were using it as an alternative to smoking, regular cigarettes. It was an alternative. People would say, well, if it's a safer alternative, why not go for it? Well, go to find out that it's not a safe alternative. Many teenagers have died as a result of vaping, and it's not as great as it was cracked out to be. Because again, you want to find a safer alternative to cigarettes. Quit. Try some other new hobby or something. But there's no need to get involved in something like that when it's not really good for you. I really didn't. I did it a lot for my wife. It was not good for her to be around cigarette smoke. We have a smoker in our church, and he shouldn't be doing that around her. And it's getting to the point where you have to say to yourself, is it really worth it to put people through that just because you are, you have this habit called smoking? And basically, if you say it, to put it bluntly, it's a nervous habit. It's people that do this are pretty much high-strung, nervous people who use it to kind of calm their nerves, so to speak, if you want to, use that as the term. That smoking, it's the habit of smoking is the desire, that thing that I forgot what they call that in your body that drives you to that desire of smoking, and that desire is not good for you. And the desire to to puff, and a lot of people don't realize that. And one of them, I smoked for a lot of years, but I decided, it's time to quit. And the broadcasting people, the Blackhawk College, my instructors there, told me that this is not good for a voice of a radio personality or on-air person to be smoking, because that's not good for the throat. So at that point, I gradually quit. And decided that it was not, good for me to do that. And, thank goodness I did, because right now I have this heart condition, probably due to this habit I had back in 1994. So, again, it took me a long time. Old habits die hard, Cigarettes were not good for me, and I had to learn the hard way that it's time to stop. So I did, and I'm grateful for it, because I'll tell you what, I'll look at the prices of cigarettes nowadays. It's not good. The prices are, you'd have to, it's $50 for a carton. It could be even more now in some places. So. Wow, I'm not going to waste money on that. Especially now, since I've got a great podcasting station here, and I have to put a lot of money into it. And I want to eventually get an upgrade to broadcaster, and every cent counts. Coming up, we got some more good stuff to talk about today. We also hope that you'll stay with me. Other things coming up. Today we're going to talk about the GJRB Online and some stuff we're going to be planning up here. We're going to be on the air again tomorrow at our Studio B location at our Church of Christ. We'll be on the air playing some music and talking and stuff. I'm hoping we can get some participants in that program at the Church of Christ. It's fabulous. Open microphone, and the microphone is open to everybody because it's omnidirectional. So that I can have people on the air with me while I'm live. And we can probably, do a really good program that way. I've got some plans for that show. I've got a few friends who are guitar players, musicians. And more than likely, I'll be playing guitar. I'm talking to my friend Brian and John Wright, and a lot of them do maybe do some live guitar sessions on the air. It'd be kind of fun to have some singing and playing as part of our program. We did that once on the first trial broadcast from that studio back when my friend's funeral. And again, that is the short in our cord here on this tablet that does that. And so I have to at times move it around so that it doesn't get, so that I can use it. We got a lot of stuff coming up, so I hope you'll stay with me. The Gary Russen program, midweek edition. On Saturday, I was going to do that this morning to get around to it, but I'm going to have to leave Ben Osman a message on his messenger to see if maybe perhaps he would like to be on Saturday, because I'm planning on doing a show on Saturday. I'm working on that as a plan to do the Gary Russen program Saturday Extra. This week, I believe the Iowa Hawkeyes are on a bye week. According to what I heard from Gary Dolphin in the Hawkeye Radio Network, who was saying that they're going to be going, it's going to be a hiatus week for the Hawkeyes. And so I'm going to use that to my advantage and do the Gary Russen program Saturday Extra, Saturday afternoon, 3 o'clock Central, right here on GJRB Online. So I hope you'll tune in for that. I'll give you more notice as we go along, and we'll be promoting. I got to try to promote a lot of stuff on this station. I think eye-catching logos and stuff like that is what I need. As a matter of fact, I was talking to Ed Delgado, the Caramel Conservative. He's going to help me with he's going to do some kind of graphics for me. That would be absolutely fabuloso if I get that going, meaning that I could get this show a little bit more boosting power and getting some people out there to tune into the broadcast. So absolutely fabulous. So I want to thank Ed for helping me out on that in advance. Yeah, we were talking last night after his show. He had an incredible show. Fabulous, as always. As he puts it, phenomenal. Don't know if I'm that phenomenal, but I do what I can to make this an interesting program and get some people out there listening. By the way, you can join me live. As a matter of fact, I am on Twitter. I am the Radio Maniac. Now, when you get into Twitter, all you got to do is get into Twitter. You'll see that little widget and the thing going across. And right above that is the comic book icon. When you hit that, it'll take you into the chat room. Now, I just posted on all three of my Facebook groups, Meet the Spreakers, Spreaker Tavern, and the GJRB listener page. Also posted on MeWe, so they're all posted, and you can check that out. And when you get into MeWe, that's MEWE, fabulous site. I actually like it. And they don't take my postings off or shadow ban me or whatever they do like they do on Facebook. MeWe's fabulous, and I want to invite everyone who listens to me on here, on GJRB Online, to go to MeWe, because if you want a place to actually have a decent page where you won't get kicked off for commentary. You won't get kicked off for political commentary. They won't throw you off for, saying something. I like that. And I really stand behind MeWe. As a matter of fact, I advertise it right here on GJRB Online. By the way, why don't we just do that? This show, the Gary Russen Program Midweek Edition, is brought to you by MeWe. You too can, it's a site where, you can post, and no one will delete it like they do on Facebook. No one will delete it. No one will take it off. They will leave you alone. And how great is that? How great is that? To actually, they won't bug you. They'll leave you alone. I think that's nice. It's about time. And there's another one too that Ed Delgado turned me on to. Now it's Convo. But I don't know if that is up. They were working on upgrading that site. Convo is excellent. As a matter of fact, you can even record audio messages on there. And now I think they got this new thing going on where they can do live video, which I want to try. Matter of fact, I might even go to Convo to do my live video. And I might do it on Facebook too, but the way they are, I don't know. I just, I think I'll leave Facebook for just family. I don't know. I might do one live feed on there just to see how it works. But technically, I really don't know whether or not I will, use that per se. Because Ed Delgado did a live feed on his Facebook, but like I said before, I might do it once just to see if I get attention on there live. I don't know if family would appreciate it. So I don't know if I'm going to do a live feed on there, but I will do it over on if Convo is an operational order, and I'd have to ask Ed Delgado. My tablet doesn't just want to stay up anymore, so I'm just going to use the computer monitor. I this week got a smartphone, so I'm good. I'm not going to worry about this stupid tablet anymore. It keeps dying, so the heck with it. So I'll probably be doing a lot more when I get the full use of the smartphone, which might be just a lot better in the long run. Meanwhile, let's do weather on the fives right now. Why did it do that for? Okay, meanwhile, let's do weather on the fives right now. Take a look at what's going on. Tropical depression Imelda is going to bring some heavy rainfall over portions of coastal Texas and Louisiana through Thursday. My tongue's not working. Flash flood watches remain in effect, including for Metro Houston. Oh boy, Metro Houston, flash flood. Yeah. Over in OSOBFSU land. John, I hope if you're listening, I hope all is well with you. You're going to get some flooding there. Elsewhere, high pressures, mainly dry weather, is going to bring some temperatures as much as 20 degrees above normal from the Central Plains to the upper Midwest. Also, critical fire weather conditions also linger over parts of the Great Basin. And of course, I think that our weather here in Clinton, Iowa, we're supposed to get a spell of hot weather again. I was listening to the news. I just following the news this morning, and before airtimes to do some stuff for this show. And they said that we were going to be getting a lot of heat again. Temperatures in the upper 80s today. And I'll give you the Clinton weather forecast toward the end of the show today here on GJRB Online. So, mention that to you. Along with that, we'll give you details on what we got coming up, our plans for GJRB, and some of the programs coming up a little later on as well. And, of course, our special Spreaker podcast shout-outs are coming up, too. So, I hope you'll stay with me today for the Gary Russen program on GJRB Online. This is our midweek edition. We'll be back again on Saturday with the Saturday Extra. Next week, kind of up in the air yet. Don't know exactly what I'm doing. Other than Monday, no broadcast. Tuesday, Gary J in the morning, regular music, our middle-of-the-road format. And then next Wednesday, all's good, we'll have another one of these shows. And I'm working on the program schedule as far as what I'm going to be doing. And also working on my Way Out There show. I got a new episode I'll be working on, and it might be on earlier than the third week of October. I'm working on an earlier show, and I'm thinking about a Halloween edition of Way Out There. So check that out. That's coming up, man. I gotta do a Halloween show, because I'd like to talk about fun stuff like Bigfoot and all that stuff. So we're gonna have a good show there coming up, and also other things coming up. So stay with me. The Gary Russen program here on GJRB Online. Beautiful day here in Clinton, Iowa. Sunshine, temperatures in the lower 80s, and like about 83 degrees. So that's not bad. Can't argue with that, Got a lot of really good things coming up, so I hope you'll stay with me. Here at the Gary Russen program on GJRB Online here on Spreaker on a beautiful afternoon. We'll talk about sports, some interesting stuff going on in sports, something about Eli Manning, and then this whole deal with Antonio Brown. What's up with that? We got to talk about that one. So that's all coming up as we continue the Gary Russen program on GJRB Online. Meanwhile, here's some of the news stories we're covering for you in the GJRB News Desk. And some of the stories, President Trump revoking the California's auto emissions program, saying that, What we got to talk about that? Then Fox's Simon Oman, we're going to talk about this next hour. Talking about there was an attack on a oil plant in Saudi Arabia. And we're going to talk about that one. That's an interesting story. And of course, Secretary of State Pompeo's there. And we're going to talk about that story. And a whole lot more coming up next hour.